What's up, guys? Welcome to the Changeover podcast, where we take people through the day-to-day lives of every tennis player from futures up to the ATP level. We are here with Josh Sheehy, currently 785 in the world, from Texas, Dallas, Texas. We are currently in San Diego. What's up, Josh? How we doing?
We're doing good. Excited to come hang out this afternoon.
Thanks for joining us, bro. It's been, I think we talked to Josh in Edmond, actually, when I was we were at, Edmond 15K. We were rooming, me, you, and Zeke at the Airbnb, and we were talking about this podcast. You actually helped me, I guess, and the other guys talk through, like, when we were about to start this podcast. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it was still all an idea at that point. You kind of had it in the journal.
Yeah.
I don't remember helping you, honestly. I just remember asking you questions about what was going on specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be able to bounce ideas off of people who, I guess, I respect their opinion, and it helped make this thing a reality. And also with Zeke, too. Zeke helped a lot. I mean, both of you guys asked a bunch of questions and helped me to figure out, like, how we would go about doing this. So it's nice to finally have you on. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
You want to run through, AJ, how we met Josh?
Well, I first met Josh. He took a visit to Texas A&M. That was my sophomore year. You were looking at colleges. I briefly met him, but I really came to met Josh when we were in the infamous Cancun, Mexico. I texted him because I didn't really know many people in the draw. I was like, hey, Josh, what's up? It's me again. And that week, there was a hurricane. So we didn't start the tournament. Was it Saturday? Was the first day?
Was it actual hurricane? Or
Actual
was it
hurricane.
rain?
Like rain for 5-6 days straight.
Well, yeah, I think we started Friday afternoon.
Friday
They
afternoon.
were trying to start qualies the whole week, and it just wasn't happening.
Like we would get 30-minute pockets where it didn't rain, but the courts were wet, and Josh and I'd be like hitting up the middle, not moving.
Why don't you explain to people who don't know that much about futures, like how much that impacted the actual schedule of the tournament? So, like, qualies
actually,
should have started on what day?
I was going to say, so futures run Monday through Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday is qualifying. And then main draw starts Tuesday, and it runs through Sunday. The finals would be Sunday. So the main draw gets split Tuesday, Wednesday. So
some tournaments start Sunday.
Oh, yeah, if there's a 64 draw. So with exception, I'd say most tournaments, those start Monday.
Yo, tennis is so confusing, bro. For
It
all the
is,
people
it
who
is.
don't know tennis, it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Like,
Most,
get
I'd say
someone-
the standard American tournament starts Monday, right?
In the US, a 32 draw start Monday, and then usually anywhere else starts on Sunday, I feel like. Only in the US, they normally start Monday.
I feel like if it's a 32 draw, it usually starts Monday, no matter what, no matter where it is.
Not in Trinidad.
Yeah, they switch it up sometimes.
All right,
Not
well,
in
so
South
anyways,
America.
my bad. It starts either Sunday or Monday,
Yes.
and then it runs all the way through to that next Sunday. And like we said, we didn't start our main draw first round until Friday. And how was your experience?
It's kind of funny because we didn't even play until late that day, and they don't have lights in Cancun. And so we started the match, I don't remember what time, but it was pretty late. And I ended up finishing the first set. I lost the first set, and it was kind of dark, and the ref walks on our court, and he's like, do you guys want to stop for the lights? And, of course, I was immediately saying yes. And luckily my opponent agreed, so we ended up getting off the court. And meanwhile, all the other courts are still playing. They kept playing for like another 30 minutes. And so we ended up coming back the next morning and finishing the match. But
So how did they allow your match to come off, but all the other matches have to keep going?
It's Cancun.
I don't know, honestly. They even put a match on after our match.
Stop it. On the same court.
And then AJ and I started hitting. I just went to my room. I was like, I'm not gonna let them put me back.
Who
on.
you playing?
Alex Naff.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough, man.
But
And, well, like kind of the whole purpose of this was we played 2 matches Friday, 2 matches Saturday, and then the finals was on Sunday, if I'm correct.
that was only one match Friday.
Is that the
because
finished.
the format was supposed to be that,
And
but
wasn't
with
it 2
AJ
Saturday,
Hand
2
is covering
Sunday?
Josh face in the camera.
my bad. I talk with my hands, you know.
It's okay. We'll use this. We'll use this
Yeah.
angle. It's all good.
Anyways, continue.
That's all I had.
That's all I had. But anyways,
That was a quick tournament for me.
that was a quick tournament for me as well. But anyways, we got to meet each other because we had 5 days where we had nothing. We were stuck in that place together.
Yeah.
You know how I met Josh? We were at the dance at the Birch, and before practice, he said there's this new guy coming, and like I'm working on myself, but I normally don't like new people, right? So, so this guy comes to
The
practice.
man starts off the story with, I'm working on myself.
No, because it's bad. It comes
I don't
out
like
bad.
people.
I can hear the grunts from the parking lot.
The guy comes to practice, and then seems like a nice guy, which already bothers me. So then we start playing like, I don't know if it's tie breaks or sets. And I just remember like me being on the odd court and like I think I miss a first serve. And I see him like go back to the fence kind of and like step all the way over 1 point.
To take a forehand.
Yeah.
On the return.
And then a couple points later, he stands like another spot. And I'm like, dog, we practicing, dog. What the hell is going on here? So like, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan at first, but I was wrong about Josh, which I know I usually am wrong about people. I think I usually start with a negative and then.
For those of you who don't know Justin, the colder you are to him at first, the more he'll like you. Like if you come up like, "What's up? My name's AJ," he'll be like, "Who's this clown?"
Yeah.
But if you're mean to him at first, he's like, "I respect that guy."
So I definitely was wrong about Josh, but became a good friend on the tour. So thank you.
I don't remember that, but I think it's because you were acing me every other serve.
Probably could have
I
been.
had to make something up.
Josh, how did you end up in San Diego? Why don't you tell the listeners how'd you end up here this week and not where you're supposed to be?
I mean, it wasn't on purpose. I was actually planning on going to Wichita, Kansas this week. There's a tournament out there too. But I forgot to pull out of this tournament. And so the way the what do you call it, IPIN? The way it works is it automatically assigns you to a tournament at a certain date if you're signed up for multiple tournaments. And so I got put into this one automatically because I was higher on the list.
And now you're down a couple hundred because of it.
Yeah, it's a little more pricey.
And the choice to go to Wichita was because you could drive?
Yeah, I mean, it's just closer for me. Plus, I'm comfortable with the environment. I can drive there. I have housing there.
It's also a 25K.
25K, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was a deal breaker for me personally because it's
Okay.
similar level at both tournaments, but it's just more convenient.
Should we, while we're on this topic, should we just break down how confusing the entry and withdrawal process is a little bit for people who have no idea or no?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
we
can.
don't even fully understand it
I mean,
sometimes.
well, so
Especially when you had to mix challenges with it.
what he was saying was the IPIN, you could sign up for multiple tournaments in a week, and there's priorities next to it. So you could personally put like, I would prefer to play this one over this one. But IPIN thinks it's smart. And if you make main draw of like priority 3, it will put you in that one over if you're in qualifying of priority 1. And I think that's what happened to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So-
luckily I was only signed up for United States tournaments, but
Oh,
it's happened to guys where they get put on other sides of the world.
I think it's even worse, like to go like to the challengers. So like I heard it happened to Colin Sinclair this like a week ago, and it happened to Evan last year. So Evan was playing, I think he was playing Sunrise, and the week after he was supposed to play a challenger. So he withdrew from Orange Park, the 15K, the next week because he had to play the challenger. But then he made the finals of Sunrise, which means he couldn't play on the Sunday, which was qualifying for a challenger. And they didn't give him a wild card for the main draw. So then he couldn't play any tournament the next week because of it. That just happened to Colin Sinclair last week. I think he was in Rancho Santa Fe, won Rancho Santa Fe, was going to play Tyler Challenger the next week, but pulled out of San Diego to go to Tyler. But then he made the finals and won Rancho Santa Fe.
Well,
So now
I
you
think
can't
it
play
pulls
the
you
next
out.
week. No, but he pulled out on his own because you have to pull out by a certain date to play the challenger.
I think another thing we should say is how, like, what would the word be? Like, just discombobulated the ATP and the player zone is with the IPIN. Like, different withdrawal dates. Like, I know with challengers, you could pull, like, people go within, like, a day or two of qualies. Am I right?
Yeah, it's very confusing, like the Thursday to Friday.
Whereas
like these
in-
commitment deadlines and stuff.
At the IPIN, it's like a week and a half before is the withdrawal deadline, and then 3 days before is the freeze deadline, the Thursday before. And what do you guys think about that? I think that makes no sense.
Yeah, it would make it a lot easier for players to kind of sync the systems up and make
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
I
similar
agree.
deadlines.
A supervisor explained it to me in Tallahassee last year. He's saying that basically the idea that they have is that you should try to play the highest tournament that you can play, and then if you can't get into that, you can work your way down. But people try to do the opposite way. Like they would play tournaments they can play, and every now and again they try to play up, and then
But to play the highest tournament makes no sense because you can't plan a trip halfway across
Exactly.
the world for something
agree.
you might not get in.
I
Sure.
agree.
So it's like in a perfect world that makes sense.
I agree. I wish that it was like one, like the whole system was the same, like the
Yeah.
entry deadlines,
Just
and
one
the
page
withdrawal
to
deadline.
sign up everything
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
make it easier for us.
It makes too much
That's
sense.
way too easy though.
Also, another thing is if you have to pull out a week and a half before, it's like it's a week and a half, am I right? About a week and a half before is the withdrawal deadline.
Yeah, that sounds right. 10 days or so.
It's like you have to think 2 tournaments ahead. So like you haven't even started that tournament and you're thinking about what you're doing the next week, which I think is for me, I think that's
AJ,
like the
let
worst.
your management team handle that. Anyway, let's get back to Josh. Josh, how was your experience playing at Abilene Christian? It's a small school, right? And was it South Texas or no?
It's out in West Texas.
West Texas.
Yeah,
How was
like-
that experience?
It was great for me. I love the place. Like you said, it's kind of a small school, which made it a little more homey, which I kind of ended up liking. And I mean, we had a great team, great facilities out there.
You played 4 years there?
Yeah, all 4 years there.
And your brother went there with you too, right?
Yeah, he ended up coming a year later, so he was there for 3 years with me.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good experience playing there.
For ACU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could do it again, would you go to a small school or would you like aim for a bigger program? You think?
I mean, that's kind of a tricky question because coming out of high school, I wasn't quite good enough to get into a lot of the bigger programs. And so if I were to go somewhere bigger, like I really liked A&M, but I was going to be a walk-on there, so it would have been tricky. I would have been fighting to even get a shot at the lineup. And so instead, for me to go somewhere like ACU, where I was instantly playing high in the lineup, getting a lot of good matches.
What'd you come in at your
For-
freshman year?
I played one my first year.
No way. So you played one all 4 years.
Yeah, we played UT.
Big
Our
chief.
first 3 matches were like UT, OU, and SMU. And I was just stuck at one all 3 matches.
Did you play a lot of top teams on the schedule or not
Yeah,
really?
to start out the year, we would play a lot of the Texas and Oklahoma schools. So
Okay.
our coach did a great job scheduling that kind of stuff.
How was the preparation like every year for you? Because I went to a small school too, but a lot of my teammates, they would work hard like during the season and stuff. Like when we're supposed to play, they obviously don't like losing. They play tennis their whole life, but like they're not the most motivated. So in the summers and stuff, a lot of the guys didn't play because professional tennis wasn't their like their goals and aspirations after college. So was it like that at Abilene Christian for you guys? Like how was the preparation like in the off season, in the summer, and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it was similar for a couple of the guys, like you said, because not everyone had professional aspirations. Like it's tricky to kind of sync up everyone's life sometimes. But once the season started, everyone was super motivated. And we had a lot of guys who were pretty academically talented, so they were pursuing other things too.
Like you, I was looking at your Abilene Christian page before this, man. I was like, honor roll this and GPA this, like crazy. What were your grades like?
They were pretty solid.
Decent? Look at this. ITA Scholar Athlete.
I don't
GPA.
even know what that means. A GPA? Like 3.9 or something?
Southern Conference Commissioners Honor
So
Roll.
humble.
Is that
I
3.9?
like 3.9.
Academically
That
talented.
doesn't get you anywhere. And
Yeah,
nobody
but
cares about
that's
that. once
impressive
you-
though.
It's actually impressive.
That is true.
It shows you were very disciplined in school.
Yeah.
Good
I
job.
did
Good
like,
job,
I like
Josh.
learning.
Congratulations,
I like
Josh.
Well
school,
done, Josh.
honestly.
Josh, say thank you. No, but it's a lot different now. I feel like, especially with the big schools, like in the summers, like we can see now in San Diego, this qualifying is full of college players. Like I don't remember it in like when I first finished, maybe a few college players played in the summers, but now it's like full, like packed. All these big schools have so many guys that want to play pro after college. It's not the same as when we went to school.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot more ITA tournaments and that kind of stuff for
Yeah.
college players, which maybe those still exist. I'm not sure.
I remember they had some when we were living in Texas. They started to do like prize money stuff, weren't they? Like the ITA summer stuff with like prize money.
They had a couple, but I think when we were starting to be done with school, it was more UTRs. You'd have like those random UTRs. Like they
True.
weren't the pro series, but just random money tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess Justin had a question for you regarding Sham. Like, congratulations, by the way, on your first title.
Thank you.
Do you want to go ahead and get that question going, Justin?
Well, my question was more like over the last, how long have you been playing pro now? Almost 2 years?
Yeah, I would say after COVID and stuff, 2 full years.
2 full years. Because I remember at the beginning of last year, you being in Cancun, like dodgy.
No,
Like,
it wasn't good.
like-
I lost first round qualies.
yeah,
3
losing
weeks in a
early in
row.
qualies. Like I remember, I think you already were a good tennis player then. I don't know how much you've actually improved on the court. Probably you have. You worked hard the last 2 years, but I kind of want to know what you've learned, what experiences that you've had in the last 2 years that have kind of helped you find your stride more
Mhm.
recently.
I mean, I would say a lot of it is being surrounded by good players. I'm pretty
Mhm.
blessed to have a good setup in Dallas. After you guys left, started moving.
Damn.
I'm saying I
I
had to
said I
find,
was surrounded by you
Cold.
guys, and now I'm surrounded by good players.
I had to find replacements for you guys. And so it ended up being a good setup. So, I mean, have a lot of good access to training with guys that are better than me in Dallas, which
Yeah.
helps me out a lot. And then I would say just improving other things, like improving fitness, improving my shots a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And then the biggest thing is kind of just believing you can be there.
Yeah.
Because like you said, so many guys hit the ball the same,
Yeah.
but it's whoever believes that they're supposed to win that day.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that something that you had to work on a lot, like the belief? Because I feel like it doesn't really just happen. Like you don't just all of a sudden have belief that you're gonna win. So did you like apply yourself in certain ways, or was it just like the confidence came based on how hard you were working and the stuff you like doing on court?
Yeah, I think it was a mix of both. The confidence knowing you have the underlying, but I mean honestly, when I was hurt a little bit last year, I was out for a couple months, and I worked on the mental game a lot while I was out. I kind of had to sit down and have a serious talk with myself, like this is actually what I want to do, because you get so much free time. You know how it takes your mind.
Yeah.
Some crazy places. And so I think that helped clarify my mindset a lot. And so once I came back playing tournaments, I knew exactly what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go.
Yeah. And it obviously paid off. Like I played, like we were talking earlier today about just how many tournaments you've played for the year. So you've probably, I think, what was it, like by March or April, you were leading like like all tours, like ATP and Futures in wins, like at a certain point, right?
Yeah, we were there for a couple of weeks.
You were there for a couple of weeks leading the tour in wins.
Yeah, well, it's because I played qualifying every week in
So
Charm. So
what,
that was
bro?
adding 3 wins a
way
week
too
for
humble,
me.
bro.
Yeah,
Have some
too
fun,
humble.
dog.
Yeah.
Relax, bro.
Like I remember going on Resultina and seeing like Josh's name above Medvedev and like same league, these two, Medvedev and Josh.
But what exactly was that mental work like? I'm curious.
For one, I read a lot of books over it.
Which, like, give me 3 of the best works.
Were you testing to see if he's lying or what's going on here?
The guy had a 3.9, dog. I want to see.
Give me
If that
authors.
was Spark Notes Course Hero or what?
Last night I started reading the book and I got to the intro, and
Talking
as soon as I
about
got
him
to chapter 1, I was done.
Yeah, you can't cheat after you get to a certain point in college. The teacher doesn't even know what's going
Yeah,
on.
for real.
Let's see. Winning by Tim Grover. That's a great one.
Okay.
I actually just bought another book by him. This is good.
And that's it.
The guy read one book, said a bunch of books.
Send me that book.
It takes what it
Trevor
takes.
Moawad.
Oh, I read that too.
Yeah.
Unbelievable book.
That's
I
a
read that
great
too.
book. And
Very
then
good
there's
book.
another one called. There's a couple other like mediocre ones. I would say Mind Gym is one of the other one that stood out pretty well. But there's a lot where you might not get great concepts from the whole book, but you get a couple concepts that you kind of carry along.
Okay.
What was the experience like in Sham? Like, as the run was happening, like you were winning a lot of matches, and then, what was it, the second to last week is the one you won a title?
Yeah, that was week 5.
Can you talk us through that week and like what you were thinking about as matches went on? Did you quali that week or were you directly?
I played qualifying that week.
Okay.
So yeah, that was 8 matches that week. For one, I had played a lot of matches while I was in Charm because the cuts were pretty high there. So I was like first, second, third qualies or seeding qualies week after week. And so I was getting a lot of qualifying matches, getting a lot of experience on the courts. Like, honestly, didn't have a lot of off days because I would play those 3 qualifying matches, play 1, 2, or 3 singles matches, and then plus doubles. I would kind of take 1 day off, and then it would restart over again. And so I was in a really good match rhythm there. We had a good life with the resort there, like good food, had an ice bath, gym, everything to recover really well.
They provide ice bath too?
Well, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a massive resort.
Okay.
So they actually have like 5 or 6 pools on site.
Nice.
And one of them is for some reason is a salt ice cold bath.
Wow.
Or pool.
Unbelievable.
It's a pool. It's like it's bigger than
And
this room.
was it hot when you were there?
Not too bad.
So even when it's like in the summer and stuff, it'll be cold? Like that pool will
No,
be cold?
Well, that's a great question.
So it's only because it wasn't that hot, maybe it was
No,
cold.
because there were other pools that were room temperature. It was
Okay.
70, 75 there, but this one I think they intentionally kept cool.
Ah, okay, that's good.
But there was no one ever in it besides a couple tennis players who were
Okay.
crazy enough for it.
Including you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of the routine.
Yeah.
And
So as the week was going on.
I was actually pretty sick that week, so I don't know if that helped relax me a little bit.
Okay.
Just taking a lot of ibuprofen, Tylenol to get me through. And I mean, physically I felt good, which I think could get me through. But it honestly didn't feel like the week was any different than the other weeks. It just felt like on the big points, I had the little extra confidence and I was winning those.
Yeah.
And then that would kind of carry me over to the next match. Because I didn't feel like I was doing anything crazy. It was maybe 1 break a set, just doing that over and over and over. And then it just felt like the guys knew I was getting a little bit of confidence with that. And maybe that lowered their level a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what was the main difference that week.
So you can feel like on certain points that before the point started, you felt good about it. Like you felt that you were in a good place and they were thinking about it a little bit in those like tough moments.
Yeah, I think so. Because I felt like I was converting more break points than usual.
Yeah.
I think I was playing the big points better.
That's
It
good.
didn't feel like during the match it was anything different, though.
Is that how you felt when you went on your Cancun run too?
I mean, a little bit. Like, same thing. It was the fourth week. I think I went quarters, lost first round, and then I had to play qualies the last week. So I didn't even sign up for the tournament. We were supposed to leave, but I don't know why we stayed one more week. And I was actually down big in like 2 or 3 of the matches. I remember I just felt like in each match there was like a dicey moment that I was able to squeak out, and then my confidence grew in those matches. But yeah, it's weird. Like you never really know when you're about to win a bunch of matches. It's kind of like you do all this hard work and I guess you read all these books and you try all this stuff, and like, I mean, I'm sure it helps, and I mean, you improve, but you never really know when it's gonna click. And then we look back and we say that all these things were better and this and that, but really, I don't know. I don't really know what the difference is. I think you just...
The reality is it comes down to so few points. Like, how much better can you really be playing? Like, maybe you just play a handful of points a lot cleaner than...
I think you have I think what happens is you trust yourself a little bit more that week or whatever, but I think you just give yourself the best chance you can every week and prepare yourself as well as you can, and then kind of what happens. And I feel like, I don't really know.
Or maybe it helped you too, not having any expectations that week because you didn't
Could
think
be.
you were supposed to be playing.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that was supposed to be my last week in Charm too.
And you were sick. That's probably what happened too.
Yeah.
Like, you just...
I remember before each match that week I booked a flight because I had Expedia and I could cancel it for free every 24 hours. So
how many flights you booked that week?
4, maybe 5. But yeah, I don't know.
But before we change subjects, we've all been on long tournament trips. Like, what do you think set apart Charm for you? Because 6 weeks is a lot. Like, I don't know for the people watching, like, you were able to keep yourself busy, but I don't know about you guys too. I've been at places where, like, the second week you're like, this is a long time. Like,
Man, he was leading Medvedev in tour wins. He didn't want to give that up.
no, but I mean, like, you've been on other long trips before. Was this one?
I think it helped that I was playing so many matches. I didn't really have time to stop and kind of reconsider what I was doing. Because, like, I think the first 2 weeks I made quarters and then we like second round.
From qualies.
Yeah, so that's putting me until, Friday for quarters. And then one day off Saturday, start playing again Sunday. So it's not like I'm sitting there for 3 or 4 days training, questioning my life.
That helps so
It was
much.
just nonstop.
That helps
remember-
like crazy.
During COVID, I went to Tunisia, and I think first week I maybe made second round, and then like for the next 3 weeks I think I maybe lost in qualies, maybe a first round, and then like in qualies. That 5-6 days, it makes life a lot more difficult. Like you want to leave.
Also, you have to like plan
Yeah.
training. Like, you have to message people to train, and you have to try
Especially
and...
somewhere like that.
And you have to get around the hours that the courts are busy.
You can practice at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or you can practice at 7 p.m. So the whole day there is like, dog, is an actual battle.
And there's
So,
not much to do except, like, work out, play tennis, or be in your room.
Read
Go,
books.
go to the beach.
There's a beach at Sham at that place?
Oh, there is too. I'm in a monastery, but yeah, Charm, there's a beach.
Yeah. We need to plan a trip in September. We're going to go.
I'm down.
You
You
go
can
Obviously
go
you would be.
snorkeling on the beach. It's pretty nice.
I don't know if it's as nice as where I'm from, but it's probably still nice.
Well, yeah, for me, for a Texas boy.
Anyway, do you want to give a quick shout out to your recent endorsement or what? I saw you post this on Instagram. I think they posted it too, right?
Yeah, I think they reposted me, or
Yeah.
they might have originated it. Yeah, shout out to Jason Couch and Relo Radar. Good stuff out there.
I'm surprised this week that you guys don't play each other, you and Justin, first round.
Probably would have if I qualified.
Yeah, that's 2 out of the last 4 tournaments.
Yeah, we played in Trinidad. I got the best of you there, and then we played indoors in Tabasco in Mexico, and the guy killed me. The guy
Kill? What was the
absolutely killed me.
score?
It was 3-3. I thought I played well, and I had no looks really. I think I maybe had one chance early in the second. I think I had like a 15-30 or something. The man slapped an inside in forehand winner, I hit some balls like returns high deep on the baseline, man. Hit an inside and forehand winners.
I have
All you can do is laugh. And
I have an absolutely
good
stupid
that
question for you guys. Would you rather lose like the way you just described, or lose where you maybe didn't play your best and you come off the court and thinking like I could have beat that guy if I would have played a little bit better? Or would you rather lose like I just played my best and I just, you know what I'm trying to say? Like what would you rather?
I think I'd rather play bad and lose. Because then if I play my best and I'm lose, I'm like,
I know it's a
maybe
stupid
I'm-
question.
maybe
I didn't say I played
maybe
my
I'm not good
best.
enough for this
I didn't say I
life.
played my
No,
best.
but
Relax.
like you played good and you come off the court like I lost, you know, and it's like defeating
I feel like I prefer to play good.
and lose.
Yeah, I think so. Because then, I don't know. At least you can feel good about putting in a good level, you know? Like you took care of what you were supposed to take care of.
And you still lost.
Yeah. As opposed to like you going in and like not being in control.
Would
and
that
having-
ever not just shake you a little bit and you're like, maybe I'm not good enough for this life?
That's the way I think more. Like if I came off the court after I
Nah.
played good, and it's like wow,
No,
like
you
my
wanna
level
think-
wasn't good enough.
No, you want to think that you're on the right track, and then you have, like, if you keep going in this direction, then those results are gonna turn. Like
I
what he
don't know.
described, what he described in Sham was that like he played some tough moments very well.
He was winning.
Yeah, so like imagine he plays,
Not
but
the
if you-
first couple weeks.
but we all know our level. So like if we play at a
No, I know
good
you mean. I
level,
know you mean.
9 times out of 10 in the futures, you'll do well. Not, you know, like how many matches in the futures do you play where you came off the court and said, I played very well, and then you lost the match?
Last
Doesn't-
week.
Okay, but how many times does that happen?
Last week you said you played horrible last week.
No, I said I just got killed last week.
So what, it wasn't
I
high
said
level.
I felt horrible. I came off the court like, what am I doing with my life?
Man told me you couldn't feel a forehand, you couldn't feel a backhand, everything feels different.
No. Like when I got on the court, I stopped complaining and I
Uh-huh.
started playing tennis. Like I played decent.
What would you
That's
prefer?
not a good performance. That's just an okay performance. That's not like a.
But that performance usually like is a close match.
But he's a good player. Who you played last week? Like he's
I know,
good.
I know, but that goes back to the question of like, it sucks mentally to like play a good match, get killed.
So you prefer
And
to play
then-
bad and lose?
No, I feel the opposite, to be honest.
I don't want to play bad, but like just the feeling of like you came off the court, you like lost the match, but you know like there's something more in you. Like you know you can produce like a better level. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like your job as an athlete is to like perform close to your potential often. So like if you can do that, the year is gonna be good. Like,
But as tennis players, I remember one of my coaches always used to say like you play your best like maybe 2 weeks out of the full year. Like your best tennis, like you only feel like good about 2 weeks out of the year, and then the rest is all problem solving. You know?
I mean, I feel like besides like the top guys, if you look at the results, it's only like a handful of good weeks, like what you described, and then a few other weeks that are just okay. But like I think that these guys, even on the okay weeks, they're not walking off the court saying that they played bad or something. They probably still put in good performances. Like you'll run into other good players on certain days, like probably like what you did last week. But if you put in a good performance against 90% of the draw, you probably have a better result than you did. You know what I
like,
mean?
for example, when I lost to him in Mexico, I didn't. That what shakes me more is the bad ones where I played horrible and I'm just out there and it's like, why am I not prepared to put in performances on the court?
no, yeah,
'Cause that's my job.
That's how I felt in Mexico when I played Zeke.
Yeah.
Like the score was what, 2 sets, 4-2 or something.
Yeah.
Zeke just won like he won one futures before I played him, and then he won the week after I played him. So he's obviously in a good moment. But like I came off the court feeling that I had more to give, and I was upset at myself that I didn't come prepared to like put in a real performance. So like that upset me more.
Do you
But
feel
if
like
I-
that motivates you more too, though?
Like after the fact, like
Yeah,
when I
if you
sit
go
down
out
and
and-
reflect.
Yeah, if you go out and play bad.
Yeah, it's like also a little bit of guilt. It's like I put in all this work, I like train hard and all this stuff, and eat well and hydrate and stretch.
it's a
and
tough question, right?
And
That's why I wanted to ask you guys.
And I think for me, it's less about if I, let's say, played well. It's more like, did I do everything I could on the day? If I feel like I left something out there, then that's the day I'm going to be disappointed and upset with myself.
Yeah, you can't
and
live with
everything.
yourself knowing that you
Yeah.
put, yeah.
Like
I
I don't know if
understand.
you saw my match against Aiden McHugh the week after.
I didn't
Did you
see.
see?
I didn't see any of that.
Did you hear about it?
Actually, no.
How honest you going to be?
I mean,
Because
I can be honest.
that's funny. Please tell it.
So, we've been talking about like what moods players like are in to perform well. So I've been talking with my coach about it with Chris, and he said in what was it, Tabasco. So I played against Zeke, and like I said, I was disappointed with the performance, and he was also a little bit frustrated with me because like in tough moments I didn't handle it very well, and then I kind of went away a little bit and stuff, and he was thinking that maybe I'm not in the right mood. So like some players like to be like encouraging to themselves. Some people like to play with some like freeness and happiness and creativity. Some like to be with a little bit of rage. So he said in Tabasco, we're gonna experiment. We're gonna play with some rage. so like for 2 days. So I got in Maine, so I knew who I was gonna play for 2 days. I was playing Aiden McHugh.
Oh, that's a good one to rage against.
Yes, and Beggy's telling me like
He plays with rage for sure. That guy.
he fuels off the rage.
Yeah.
So Beggy's telling me like 2 days now. He's like trying to get me a little bit pissed off, like trying to get me fired up to play.
What was he telling you?
We don't have to discuss
Okay,
that.
yeah, that's smart.
But yeah, so he's telling me this stuff, and I'm getting fired up to play, and then he says, "Come see me right before you go on." So then the match time comes, and I'm like warming up and stuff, and then it's time for me to go on, and he's up talking to people. So now I don't want to go up to the cafe to come see him because he's up in the middle of a conversation.
It could have been on purpose.
Could have been. It actually could have been. And if it was to piss me off, it worked. So so now I go to the court, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to be a little bit of a dick now. So I sit in the chair, and I like take out my notebook maybe, and I read the notes. And so now you have one. So for people who don't know, when you get to the court, you have 1 minute, right, before the flip the coin. So I said I'm going to use every single second in this minute. This man, when I walked on the court, he's already in the middle, like waiting to flip the coin. So I sit there, I get the drinks out the cooler, I take my like notebook out, I read my note, then I put on my wristbands, I take my towel out. So I use a full minute, then I walk up slow to the thing. So we start the match, and I'm serving first. And like my match notes are like a little bit tactical and a little bit like with rage, you know? So I start the match, and I get broken. I get broken to start the match, and I just
Code violation.
yes.
Mr. McGinley.
First game at 1-0, I break a racket, and then now I'm even more pissed off because I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like at 1-0,
There's a couple $100.
AJ, I was so mad that I couldn't even breathe properly. Like I was like,
For people who don't
And there was
know,
no air in there either.
Jody's like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Like he couldn't hurt a fly. So like for
not that day. I broke a racket at 1-0, and then I'm thinking like, Jody, how dumb are you? You have 3 rackets.
Those were fresh strings too, huh?
Fresh strings. I paid $15 too because the so I use a pro stringer. So I string on my own, and my pro stringer was broken. So I sent it back to them. So now I'm paying for rackets to be strung. So I paid $15. That's another thing. I was late to the court because I was waiting for my racket to be strung. So when I got it, I literally got it and walked straight on the court.
Oh,
with
you
the
were
racket.
already pissed.
I wonder what
I
the
was pissed
stat
for, like,
is
5 different reasons.
on rackets broken in first games of tennis matches. That might be the first one in tennis history.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But so the experiment, I would say, it was interesting because I broke back, and like I broke back right away. Like I was pissed, but I was playing pretty well. Like the level of tennis was pretty well, but I think it was I was too emotional. I was too pissed off, and it just didn't end well. So I would say overall,
You were raging. You should play with a little bit of rage, but you were
correct.
Correct. Spiraling.
Yeah. Maybe I don't go into the match thinking I have to be pissed today. Like maybe just let things piss me off a little bit.
Yeah, it was funny.
1-0, and I had no intention on doing that. I just like I got broken, and all of a sudden the racket's in.
It
Was
the
that
kind
court.
of worked though.
was that-
'cause
was
if you were serving well, you probably win that first set.
Yeah, I wasn't serving well actually. I broke him twice. I think I broke him
You
twice.
probably
So I
win
was,
that first set.
and
if you were
normally for
serving.
me, like 2
And a
times
couple
a set,
easy
I'm gonna
mid
win the
court
set.
forehands you miss.
Was that racket on
Okay.
your mind the rest of the match?
Yes.
Like you were probably
Bro.
like it's like 4-all the first, and he's like that racket,
AJ,
man.
It's not even rage.
the
Just
racket-
sadness.
AJ, the racket's on my mind today. I have 2 rackets, AJ. I have 2 rackets. I was playing last week in San Diego, and I started my match, and I felt like if this match goes long, the strings get loose, I'm gonna need a new.
We sent one to string.
Yeah, I sent one to string in the middle of the match, and I probably have to do that this week. Like if I keep doing well and stuff, and I'm probably gonna have to send rackets to string, all because I got rage and broke a racket at 1-0.
Two survivable.
2, it is like Zeke was doing it for a while.
I mean, I actually played with 1 in Charm.
I only play with 2 ever. I don't break strings.
But you had only
Or
one
rackets.
racket?
Well,
Huh?
I had like
Or
1.5.
rackets.
I broke one on a serve by accident in warm up one day,
Too good.
and then the other one was like misweighted, misbalanced that someone had just given to
It
me.
was in your head.
Speaking of Josh, speaking of rackets, I think you're like a racket specialist. Am I right?
No.
You and Evan Zhu.
The first
Evan
time
and I have been down the rabbit
Oh
hole.
my god.
The first time I met him in Cancun, since we had all that rain delays, he was showing me on his phone. He's like, this is the racket I use. He's like, the grips are broken, so I ordered these special grips from Wilson. I'm getting them shipped in. I'm like, man, I just order a racket, and that's it. I put an overgrip on, I'm ready to play.
No, I don't know what happened, but the butt caps kept breaking on my rackets. I'm not going to name a brand, but the butt caps kept breaking.
Use Babla, right? No, I'm just kidding.
I do now.
I'm just kidding. Oh, when was this? Was this in the Wilson days?
Yeah.
You
I
just
don't-
say like,
I don't
I'm
know.
not gonna.
Like
I
don't
can name
know.
them. I can name rackets. This podcast is not sponsored.
No, we need Evan Zhu here. Evan and I went down the rabbit hole that
The
month.
camera-
in Cancun.
camera
I
wink.
remember.
Well, that
that's
was-
when you guys
that's when
found
he had
out
the-
about his head rackets.
Yeah, that's when he figured out his rackets were fake. So and then we had so much time with the rain that we were.
Can
deep
you
in the
imagine how
rabbit hole.
detailed you have to be about rackets to find out they're fake? Like the
I
eBay
didn't-
rackets are fake.
I don't think you realize.
He
I
was
didn't
staring at
know
his rackets
Josh.
for like an hour. He was sleeping with his rackets almost.
He probably still does that now. You about to say?
No, I was gonna say, like, imagine, like, I just met him, and he's telling me about like how he's getting special grips sent in for his rackets because they're squeaky.
Well, we had to like super glue them back together. I had to buy glue at Walmart to put my rackets back together.
Yo, we touched a little bit on Dallas, like on the training setup. So what is it like now? Like how does it work for you now, and who do you train with, and like what's the schedule like when you're at base?
Yes, I'm normally based out of SMU now. Grant Chen has done a great job of recruiting all like the professional players in the Dallas-Fort Worth
He's the
area
goat.
to make a
So
little
much energy.
training hub out of there.
So Grant coaches in college and also recruits outside of college
Yeah,
for
he's
his
recruiting,
facilities.
All he does
he's
is
recruiting his
recruit.
own pro team.
That's all he does is recruit.
You know, when I
All
first met him, I thought he was Dimitrov's coach
I believe you.
because I was a hitting partner in Cincinnati, and I was scheduled to hit with Dimitrov, and Grant was like walking around just like
I've never seen the guy tired
the
or in a
most
bad
energy.
mood or anything like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
Unbelievable
I
guy.
didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so he's just made it very hospitable for all the pro players. And there was also a trainer there that a lot of us use, like a fitness coach.
Okay.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Juan Robles out there.
Unbelievable.
Now, I don't know if this is like an intrusive question, but a question we get asked a lot on the page is like, does Grant help you guys out, or do you guys still have to pay for that training?
So it's all on our own right now because there's not really a coach provided or anything.
But does he like allow you to use the facilities, you know, kind
Yeah,
of?
as long as we're not using it when like the college team or leagues or other lessons need it, yeah, it's pretty much open to us.
That's nice.
So how what's the schedule like for training?
I mean, a lot of that depends on the week, which guys are in town.
Okay.
Because, I mean, to be honest, it's a lot of guys playing ATP events and challengers and stuff. And so they have a different schedule than me.
Okay.
And so it kind of just depends on which guys are there that week.
And
if
we
their
talked a
coaches
little
are
bit
there.
today about your tournament schedule. So you said you're trying to ease up a little bit. Like before you were playing 6 in a row, now you're going a little bit 2 on, 2 off, right?
Yeah, that's kind of been the schedule the last couple months. It's been a little more relaxing for me.
And you think that's gonna be like that for the rest of the summer?
I mean, it could be. Kind of depends on what tournaments I can get into later,
Like the challenges and stuff.
ideally. But
Okay.
who knows what the cuts will be like for those.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why it's tough to really plan out a schedule.
Are we ever going to play doubles, Josh?
You're the one who already has a partner this week. And then you're leaving.
It's true. Man, we played
He's always got a reason for you. Huh? It's always a good reason why you can't play
every
doubles,
single
isn't
time. Every
Yeah,
single
he
time.
asked me, but then he already has a partner.
No, I just know you're gonna say no anyway, so
Yeah,
I just
come prepared.
asked. Yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
You too.
What do you mean, me too?
You also
this
come
guy
prepared
just never
too.
plays doubles.
I played doubles with both of you before. You guys are like my main doubles players.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I mean, I can't dispute that.
Yeah.
My last doubles tournament was it was with Josh last week, but it was with you and Josh.
Yeah,
You guys did well, right, Trinidad?
Lost in the finals.
it's a pretty good week.
First time ever. He literally asked me like 2 days before. He's like, "Hey, you got a partner?" I was like, "I'll play the
Yo.
first week."
Josh actually messaged me. I said I'm playing with Justin, and then the next day, Justin was going through a little bit with his wrist. So then I messaged back Josh to say, "Yo, Josh, let's actually play." He's like, "Nah, sorry, I'm playing with AJ." One day,
How confused were you with that one?
one day, I was like, "How can you find someone in one day so fast?" But that's how it goes. Anyway,
Wait, have we heard AJ's new physics for San Diego? Remember how Trinidad, it was the sun is always in your
fuck.
eyes?
Don't get him started.
We have a new one
Don't
for
get
San
him started.
Diego.
Wait, it's actually a new one
I don't
today?
even
Yeah.
know what it is at this point.
I'm
I complain a
let
lot. Okay, I complain a lot. Full disclosure.
Let's hear it.
You
That's
want
what
to
I do.
explain this, don't you?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I want you to explain it.
You're the one who came up with it.
Oh,
Okay, so we were playing. we were practicing.
This is dumb.
we
Yeah,
were
go for
practicing
it.
today.
Is it dumb?
Oh, it's dumb.
Are you gonna defend it?
No, I'm
He's
I'm
gonna-
just gonna listen.
He's gonna defend it. Okay, so I hit a ball that was, I mean, maybe a couple feet away from him. He missed it, and then I hit a ball like 10 feet away from him. He gets it, and then he's sitting there. He's like, I don't understand this place. He's like, the closer the ball is to me, the harder it is to get. He's like, when it's far away from me, I'm there. But he's like, when it's close to me, I just can't get it. And then proceeded to give me a 2-minute long explanation why that was true.
And how do you feel about that now, AJ?
I mean, obviously, I was being sarcastic, but
Okay.
since the ball goes, the reason I said that was you hit that unreal drop shot today, and I got to it. Remember that one?
Yeah, but this was long
The
before
reason I said that.
And then
Keep
and then
going.
I hit a ball like just out of his reach, and you even looked like what's
it
going
was
on
because
here?
after you made this theory, I was making fun of you.
You didn't get to the ball.
You hit a good shot. I'm not going to deny that.
So we
He's
should
defending it now. You realize?
yeah, we should move on and talk about San Diego a little bit before we roll. So for everyone watching, we're in San Diego. This is our last week. Well, most of us. Josh just got to
Yeah, great scheduling.
just
LA,
got
LA
here.
next week, no?
Yeah, LA next week.
Yeah, but
And then home.
how do you like San Diego so far, Josh?
It's been a little cloudy.
It's been like that the last
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I would like
man.
it to be a little warmer, but
So cool.
But
I
the
can't
tournament
complain.
itself so far feels good. Like the facility is nice. I think that's where they have the 250 and the women's tournament.
yeah,
so,
today's the first day I've ever been there.
yeah,
It was solid.
we went first day
yesterday.
yesterday or day
Well, you guys
before.
hit
2
a
days
couple
ago.
Yeah, but it's nice. Like we have a nice little player area where we can sit, some tables and chairs. I don't know if they have food there. Maybe they do.
They do.
But
A
they do
little-
have food.
A little like tuck shop. Like,
Yeah. Plenty courts to practice on. So I like it. Like it's a good environment. Like for a future, I think it's pretty good. And last week too. I like last week. Like maybe with the combined event, maybe they didn't have enough practice courts. So last week the practice courts was separate from what we're playing now. But
Okay.
this one, I like it. I think it's good. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, after hearing my absurd comments, I think what I think doesn't matter. We'll just go right to Josh.
And you, Justin?
I'm done, so it doesn't matter what I think. But the facility is nice. There are like 24, 25 courts there, all in good condition. Only thing I feel is the weather could have been a little bit more like what you imagine California to be like. But
What'd you imagine California to be like? It's like
Sunny.
between 65 and 75 every day. That's
You know,
like
I played-
California to a T.
I played Malibu in January and the tournament rained out. Didn't,
yeah, it's
like,
like it's
But
it's
that-
misty
that-
No,
and it's
we,
like
we
cold.
started playing Friday.
well, I was gone. They canceled dubs. I left.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think I left Friday. Maybe. How'd you do
I just
I lost first round.
on a
The
Friday?
rain delays don't treat me well, I guess.
Yeah, true. Fair enough.
Do a little rain dance tomorrow morning.
oh yeah, you guys play first round tomorrow.
We do.
Yeah.
First
know,
time
We should have
ever.
recorded tomorrow night.
Ooh, that would have been spicy.
That would have been
That would
nice.
have been better.
But by the time this podcast is released, it's gonna be.
It's okay. I
It's
got my
Thursday.
strategy. I just have to hit every ball at AJ.
Yeah, don't move it.
Ball
Do
down
not-
the middle.
Do not
as
move
close
AJ.
as possible. I've been hitting winners right at him.
All body serves, all like.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's against the grain of what Taylor used to say. You know, body serves.
Yeah, but it's all in this guy's head.
Maybe,
now.
maybe I'm
play
already,
middle.
maybe I'm already in your head.
Oh, that was
know.
the
play all bump. No opening the court.
reverse
Everything.
psychology.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How long was this?
it has been 42 minutes. Do we have anything else to talk about before we roll?
I feel like we did.
I wanted to know, like, you cut me off earlier.
Oh.
But
Who cut? Who cut you off?
switch the subject a little
I
bit.
did. Sorry, we're
I'm
going back.
here
We're
for
going
it.
back.
I was asking about the books, but I wanted to know, like, what specifically you were doing. Like, what, I guess, maybe what concepts from those books have helped you, or that you still apply to your life today.
That's a good question. I mean, I would say I feel like books change the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of them, it just made me question the habits or the things that I was doing. And it forced me to think about what I was already doing.
Like, what were you doing that you didn't think
Honestly,
was
I didn't
helpful?
I didn't struggle that much mentally. I feel like I've always been pretty calm on the court, been
Yeah.
able to keep myself composed.
Same.
But I've never. Okay. But yeah, it helped to kind of find that next level and get to the proactive level instead of just. I felt like I was maintaining before.
Okay, I could see that. When we played,
So
yeah.
like if I do have a negative emotion or like one of the biggest things I feel like when something happens, especially on court,
yeah,
instead of like instantly reacting to it, I'm like stopping and I try to look at it from like an outside perspective and then respond to it.
okay. I
That
also
sounds like what from It Takes What It Takes, like about being
Yeah,
neutral
with
and
the neutral
thinking
thinking and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I had surgery, I did a bunch of that work. But I think when I was reading the book and taking notes and practicing it, I wasn't really playing that much tennis. So it didn't really affect me. And then when I actually came back to playing, I wasn't practicing as much of what I was studying, like when I was hurt. You know, so it didn't impact me as much as I guess it would have for you. Because you probably did it while you were playing.
At the time, I wasn't playing a lot of tournaments either. So it's kind of similar situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like there were concepts like that I kept once I got back on the court, and it changed my mindset a little bit.
You're gonna say something? I interrupted you again. Sorry.
I
I need
was
to work on my podcasting skills.
No, I was curious also because when we played in Tabasco was the first time. I guess when we played in Trinidad, you were quiet, pretty mellow.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there were moments in Tabasco where you were a little more fired up, and I actually heard you. I don't know if that was on purpose or if there's something that you've been working on, or that just was the moments. It was a big moment for you, and you felt like you had to let some steam out. Or
I think that was a little bit of both. Trinidad, I mean, one, we played a little bit late, and I think I didn't get up for it enough, and you were out there. I mean, you didn't give me a lot of chances, which was props to you on that one.
thank you, man.
And I don't know, maybe it was my first trip back. It was my first tournament back after Sharm, so
Okay.
maybe I felt a tiny bit complacent without trying, and I kind of thought it would still just come without
Yeah.
having to do the extra.
For sure.
And so after I kind of had a 2 disappointing weeks for myself in Trinidad, and so when I got home, I was really like pushing it harder. Like for that, it was back to the point where I didn't feel like I played my best, and so for me that fueled me even more.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I put a lot of work in the next 2 weeks. And then once I got to Mexico and I felt like things were going my way, I was trying to even push that. Not like in a tense way to try to push it, but I was trying to find that fire.
Yeah, I didn't feel like
inside
it
of me.
was like a thing you were overdoing. I felt like it was moments that were kind of key where I was a bit surprised to feel some intensity from your side of the court. Because we never played a real match before Trinidad.
But we kind of had a similar feeling like when we got back from Mexico. Than what he was describing after he got back from Trinidad, because when we got back from Mexico, it was like pretty clear what we wanted to work on. Like in the 5 days that we were in Florida that we trained, like it was pretty clear, like targeted practice. So I feel like I can relate to what he's saying about.
I think that's
like,
for
the
me the
targeted
beauty of
practice.
like actually being able to play tournaments now when you're healthy is like the practice becomes much more targeted. You see exactly where you're deficient or exactly where you need to spend more time. So it's kind of I'm just curious to see kind of what goes through your mind.
Yeah.
After tournaments.
Because one thing that I was trying to think of too is kind of accentuate the positive. Like when I do have a positive shot or positive result, like really bringing that forward for myself. And then if something negative happens, just trying to push that away.
It's so easy to do it the other way around. Like when I was having a bad time, it was so hard to recognize when I did good because it didn't feel like I had the capability of doing good. So I would hit a good serve or play a good shot.
Amen.
I would hit a good shot or something, and it feels like it's lucky or it feels like it's fortunate, but it's like, no, I can actually do it, you know?
Yeah.
But then if I play a bad shot, then you would let out the negative emotion,
I mean, it's
negative
just because you're
self-talk.
highlighting with different things to look for.
will-
too.
Exactly. Like if you pay attention to it and like, I guess enforce the habit of not rewarding yourself, but acknowledging the good that you do and not just the bad, then it makes a big difference.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
kind
like.
of have to be a third coach out there or a second coach out there with yourself.
Yeah.
Like obviously you can have someone there on the sideline getting you through, but most of the time we're by ourselves.
And then equally, after your last event at Tabasco, I thought you played very well the whole week. I didn't see the matches. I guess with Zeke, you maybe lost 4 in the third, something like that.
6 in the
6 in the
third.
third.
6, that's even worse.
Two
Tougher,
match
sorry.
points.
Zeke just takes
Two
so
match
Oh,
long.
you had
points.
2 match points.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. What was your focus after Trinidad? A little bit, because I felt like you were playing a bit different. I don't know if that was just mental or.
I mean, maybe it was the conditions a little bit. The
Yeah.
conditions in Trinidad, I felt like were a little slower,
Yeah.
which maybe the balls, maybe it's those like 1% differences. But I hit the court a lot after Trinidad.
I don't know. Like I didn't see like when you were playing Justin, you look like what you described. Like you kind of thought that the good feelings would come like after Sham, like after you did well in Sham.
Mm-hmm.
But in Mexico, like in Tabasco, you look like very determined. Like
Mm-hmm.
you, not that you didn't look determined against Justin, but it looked like you just assumed that the level was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think you played a bad match, but it's like you didn't take the match.
Yeah.
But in Tabasco, it looks like you're taking the big moments, like you're making the moments yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw a difference in like the intensity and like the desire to like make this moment your moment.
Yeah, because especially after Trinidad mentally, I was sitting there and I was like, first I have the really highs, and then I got straight back to the low, and so I had to figure out what the difference was.
But it wasn't
mentally for me.
immediate because you played against Aguilar, Charlie from his teammates with AJ,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you lost like in straights in
Yeah.
Jalapa. Also altitude maybe a little tough to play.
Yeah, the altitude is a little tricky for me.
Yeah.
Charlie's great in the altitude.
Carlos
so like, he knew
also-
exactly how to expose me on that
Yeah.
one.
It's just tennis being tennis, but like Carlos is, I don't think his rankings anywhere near his tennis.
No, very good tennis.
sure.
You know what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah,
like that's
I
like
agree.
that's also that gets in your head because you're
Yeah,
like
because he had a great one the next day. He beat a
exactly.
guy.
So like I think that's another thing that could. It rolls into what I was gonna actually ask you next was just that. It's not even asking you, just saying
Well, is he done, or are you gonna cut him
No,
off
go, go.
again?
first time
Respect
today.
me.
Well, I mean, it's kind of
No, I'm
on
joking.
the
Go, go,
it's
go.
on the same subject, and it's kind of just a look at things over starting the changeover. How crazy different every tennis player thinks. I know we all knew that everybody thinks differently, but
Yeah.
they think of it from like a whole different, like they see it from a whole different view. Like hearing the way things click for you compared to hearing the way things click for you.
You know the
To me,
craziest
it's like
part
it's a
is
learning experience.
there's so many good players that have no thought.
No
Like,
thought.
there's so many good players that they can't describe why they do what they do very well. It's just that they're so competent in what they do.
I
They don't
think-
have to think
but for
about
some,
it.
for
You
some
know?
guys, that works.
That works. I was
Exactly,
gonna
that's
say,
what I'm
if they're
saying.
in the
That's my
zone.
point.
If they've been ingrained with the right things.
That's my
obviously.
point. That's my point. They don't have to think. Like they don't really have much thought. It's just like see ball, hit ball, and all. It's just very good. You know.
So I think that's a blessing and a curse, but I think that's where we try to strive to be. Like when it's a tight match, you kind of want to have a quiet mind, you know?
That's
Mhm.
true. I agree.
And so after I think you had good performances in Tabasco. Were you able to kind of? How has this little training block been compared to the one after Trinidad? 'Cause I feel like you've played well recently. Were you still like, okay, I need to make sure I don't let up now, or is it more bit relaxed again because you?
It was a little tricky because physically I wasn't in a great spot.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's because I played so many matches in Mexico.
Yeah, and the conditions were rough though.
Yeah.
It was so hot and humid in there.
Yeah, so once I came back home, I tried to hit normal the first couple days, and I just felt really drained,
Yeah.
really just kind of under the weather. And then I tried to go sign into Tyler, didn't make that, and then
Okay.
ended up just feeling really sick.
Okay.
So the first couple, like especially that weekend and those 1 or 2 days after that, I was taking it pretty slow.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a little different preparation, but I couldn't ramp it up until the last couple days before that.
But you're feeling good for tomorrow.
Yeah, feeling great.
That's what I get.
All right. Think we have everything covered for this week. Yeah, next week the boys are on the road again. We will be in Notre Dame.
South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, South Bend, Notre Dame. So, for people watching, I don't know how many California followers we have, but Josh will be here for 3 weeks. So, come out and watch Josh. And yeah, if you like what we're doing here, just please subscribe, share it, like it, do whatever. You know what I mean? Show us some love.
Subscribe is the big one.
Yeah,
Click that
subscribe.
subscribe button,
Yeah.
please.
And share it with a friend. Share it with who you think would be interested in what we do. We haven't done the best job at like fully breaking down exactly what we do, and it's something that we're gonna I guess work on for the next week. Is just really explaining how the Futures Tour work and how we go about our business. But we're trying to show here that the level of professional tennis goes far beyond just the Grand Slams. So you guys should probably come out and check out the Professional Tennis Futures Challenges when it's in tournaments near you. Feel free to go on the calendars, Google it, search it, and follow some players that you would like to see, support some players you would like to see. So, yeah, that's all we got for you this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week in Indiana.